The Kentucky Small Business Development Center is a statewide, nationally accredited program that provides no-cost, confidential business coaching and training services. Whether you're just getting started or are ready to expand, we have the tools, resources, and expertise to help you succeed. We're part of a national network, America's SBDC, with over 1,000 centers across the nation. To learn more about how the Kentucky SBDC can serve you, please visit KentuckySBDC.com or email us at info@KentuckySBDC.com. You can also reach us by calling 888-414-7232. Thank you for joining today's webinar. The chat feature is available for you to ask questions and interact with today's speaker. Please take a moment to introduce yourself and where you are watching from today.
Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to another Wednesday webinar. I'm Dave Etkin. I am the director of the Louisville Small Business Development Center. We're one of 14 centers, part of the Kentucky Small Business Development Center network here. Glad you joined us again today. So as always, if you just look to the bottom, just maybe hover your cursor at the bottom of your screen, a little toolbar will pop up. You'll see the chat feature. If you have any questions for our presenter, you can put them in there. And just to make sure everything's working well, as always, just go ahead and say hello and tell us where you're watching from. It's always fun to see where everybody is joining us from. Again, we get people joining from all over the world sometimes, so I love seeing that. Love seeing people join from all over the place. There's Jessa from Berea, Jackie from Maryland. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us today. Let's see, who else do we have here today? Kathy. Hey, Kathy, how are you? Kathy's got a cool business. I say that every time she comes on. Hartford, interesting. Yeah. Great, you guys. Thanks for joining us all. I've got a cool guest today. In business, we are, as business owners, we're driven to make as much money as we can. That's the whole goal of business, is to make profit. But there are other considerations, and sometimes that profit motive really doesn't serve us well. And because there's other segments of our business, there are our customers, our employees, the community. All these things need to be kind of baked into the way we do business. And over the years, there's been a movement to try to integrate the different facets of business and do good for the community and the world as part of going into business, other than just being a cutthroat profit meister. I was really blessed to be involved with Ben and Scott Collins and all the folks from Canopy, who is leading the charge here in Kentucky on the benefit corporation movement and some certifications they put together. And so I'm not going to steal any more of your thunder there, Ben, because I could talk about this for a long time. It's just an awesome thing that you guys are doing. So Ben, welcome.
Thank you, Dave. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and Ben is with Canopy, and Canopy is, I'll just let you explain what Canopy is.
Yeah, of course. Well, greetings, everyone. As Dave said, my name is Ben Smock. I'm the Director of Development with Canopy, and we are a nonprofit organization that represents the entire state of Kentucky. And our mission is to grow Kentucky businesses to positively impact people, our planet, and our future. And really fortunate to have had such a long-standing relationship with Dave and the SBDC. And Dave, I feel like I mentioned this last time, but you wrote, I think, with Scott, the original white paper on Canopy and our original business plan. So a long history with SBDC. So really proud to be here.
Yeah. So let's just jump right in, Ben. Why don't you throw your slides up there and let's take a look, because again, I'm going to steal your thunder here, but going down this road is a great way to make your business better and actually make more money if you want to be kind of selfish about this. So doing good is good business. So jump in there, Ben.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. And I can't see anybody as part of this presentation, so I'll try to minimize my awkwardness, but definitely chime in if you have questions in the chat. I know Dave's going to monitor that and we can lift them up in real time. So you won't bother me if you interrupt at all. I love questions and really talking things out. So, to Dave's point, he's right. We're experiencing a redefinition of success as it pertains to business here locally, in Louisville, throughout Kentucky, nationally, globally, right? That making profit, while in and of itself is not bad, it's incomplete as we define success for business. And really, at Canopy, we believe that success in business is considerate of all stakeholders. That when we look at overall success, we're talking about profitability, we're talking about impact on our team, we're talking about community impact and impact on our environment. And so there are ways that businesses can be intentional with how they support all stakeholders within their business. And so what I'm going to talk about today is ultimately how doing good leads to successful business endeavors, how this helps your business grow, how it helps you sustain, and really for us in Canopy, how it positions Kentucky as a premier ecosystem for good business. So many of you, I'm sure, in some way, shape, or form, are familiar with organizations and opportunities that exist to become a purpose-driven business, a social enterprise, a triple bottom line business. There's a lot of words for it. Essentially, it's what we're talking about, how to incorporate social and environmental elements into your business, how to be stakeholder driven, to not just maximize profit, but to maximize impact as well. So I'll be kind of talking a little bit about some of the options out there and focusing on Canopy. So what you see here are the options that exist. In the middle there, we have the Certified B Corporation. This is really the global gold standard. B Corp has been around for about 20 years, and it operates out of England, and it's through a nonprofit organization called B Lab. And this is a third-party verification for companies that on a global scale are really intentionally maximizing their social and environmental impact. Companies such as Patagonia, are B Corps, right? That are major organizations that have a global presence. And B Corp in and of itself is a quite rigorous process. To obtain B Corp certification means that you are delivering and adhering to some really meaningful metrics as it pertains to purpose-driven business, as it shows up in leadership practices, as it shows up in governance of your organization. And ultimately, to obtain a B Corp status, you have to score a certain number of points out of a total number of points. So it's like a test. And the rigor, is important because it's really this gold standard, but also, it's something that there needs to be another tool in the toolbox to create accessibility. So B Corp is one of the ways in which businesses can operationalize their good, how they can be recognized for leading a purpose-driven business. The next one to the right, you'll see is the Public Benefit Corporation. Sounds very similar, slightly different. So PBCs are entities with the state. So you can actually file with the Secretary of State. You can register your business as a public benefit corporation. And this means that your business stands for a public good, that you are not just about making profit, that you are about supporting a public good. And it's written into the bylaws of your organization. It is supported and approved by your board of directors. And it's a state-by-state legislation. And in Kentucky, we passed this legislation in 2017. Canopy's founder, Scott Collins, Bryce Butler over at Access Ventures, State Representative Jerry Miller, and some others were key in getting this legislation passed. And Kentucky was the 31st state to pass this legislation, which is great. We're not in the top 10, but we certainly weren't in the bottom 10 with the passage of this legislation. And it's an important signal for Kentucky businesses and Kentucky entrepreneurs that our state is open to a new way of doing business. We encourage businesses to be purpose-driven, to be for the benefit of the public and for the environment. And then lastly, all the way on the left here, you have Canopy certified. So Canopy exists to fill a space. Public benefit corporations, you file with the Secretary of State, you become a PBC, and then, that's basically it. It's kind of a signal that your business is importantly focused on, more than just making profit, but really Canopy exists to create accessibility to the good business movement. And, for us, it's all about Kentucky. It's all about empowering entrepreneurs, small businesses, mid-sized businesses, and even large businesses in Kentucky to operationalize their good, to be celebrated for doing so, and ultimately to position Kentucky as a premier ecosystem for this way of doing business that's supportive of social and environmental efforts, and also supportive of statewide economic development. So if anybody has more questions about these entities, these designations, please chime in the chat. Happy to go in more detail. But really all of this is because of what trends we're seeing from different stakeholder groups. We can in different ways see the writing on the wall as to why becoming a purpose-driven business is increasingly important. And so I'm going to go through a few slides that represent why this is so important. Consumer consciousness is the first one, right? You'll see here the slide says that, really a vast majority of consumers, this says US, but this is global as well. A vast majority of consumers want to know that the brands they support are really working to address social and environmental issues. This is a significant percentage of people that are making purchasing decisions based on what companies do to impact the planet and to positively impact people. So beyond just offering a good product and a good service, what are these businesses doing to contribute to the overall improvement of society and environment as a whole? And we're expecting this number to continue to increase. So all you business owners out there that are thinking of ways to attract and retain consumers, your purpose behind your business, what you're doing to positively impact community and environment is growing in importance by the day. The up and coming generations, we've heard it ad nauseum, really in regards to millennials and Gen Z consumers, of like how quickly this trend is taking hold. Gen Z is 3 times more likely to say that the purpose of business is to serve communities and society, as opposed to what Dave mentioned at the beginning, right? That the purpose of business is to make money. Now, there's nothing wrong with making money, and there's sometimes a misperception that in order to make money you have to sacrifice your social and environmental effort, and we believe that that's just not the case. And we're really loving the fact that the up and coming generations, the folks that are entering the workforce, that are really moving the purchasing power across our country and beyond, are focused on the purpose-driven nature of businesses. So, again, reinforcing the importance from a consumer perspective that people are looking for businesses to positively impact our planet and people, and to do it in a non-performative way. Also, for those of you that are hiring, this is what people are looking for in terms of employment. That a vast majority of job seekers are looking for a sense of purpose in where they work, right? That they want to be contributing to more than just a 9-to-5, right? They don't want to just make a paycheck. They want to be part of something that is contributing to society as a whole. And, this is a major consideration when people are considering where to work. So if you want to attract and retain top talent, this is something that we have to be mindful of. And it's showing up in so many different ways. And for us at Canopy, this is something we want to help businesses become really good at doing this. We provide the roadmap to help you figure all this stuff out. And then ultimately, we want to, extrapolate that throughout the state, that businesses throughout Kentucky are really attractive to potential job seekers, so that when folks graduate from local universities and colleges or other, trades, things of that nature, that they have this environment, this space to enter the workforce with supportive employers. And so we really want to help businesses position themselves for success as people are looking for jobs in this space. Once they're in the job, once you successfully attract people to work for you, this really helps with employee engagement over time, right? Loyalty and keeping folks engaged with the organization, keeping their commitment, and really keeping them positively contributing to your organization. This is important for businesses to consider from an employee perspective. And you can see the percentages here, right? The percentage of employees that would be more loyal to a company that really contributes to social and environmental issues, that they're considering this when they are thinking about where to work. And then just ultimately, if there are pathways for them to be intentional with how they can reinforce a company's mission and support their purpose, this leads to higher employee engagement, and that's a wonderful thing. For those of you that are ultimately hoping to make an exit or scale your business in a certain way and seek investment, this impact investing space is kind of the Wild West a little bit. You'll hear it described as ESG, you'll hear it described as impact investing. Really sophisticated investments are following a trend where more and more assets under management are going towards businesses and portfolios that are purpose driven, right? Because over time, we've seen data to suggest that purpose driven companies and portfolios are outperforming the market and outperforming their peers over a longitudinal study. So, again, regardless of what your goal is with business, to get off the ground and get a consumer base, to attract and retain the right employees, or to attract investment, this purpose-driven nature, this good business aspect is becoming more important by the day. And then lastly, we got to make money. No money, no mission. We say that as a nonprofit organization, and I know that it's true with the business sector as well, that we have to make money, and profitability in and of itself is not a bad word. Companies that are leading with purpose are, over time, and you can see here by the study of one of the Whole Foods founders, is significantly outperforming the market. And so, you can see that this leads to traditional markers of business success. So now I kind of want to switch into Canopy a little bit. We are focused on Kentucky, and the reason that we're focused on Kentucky kind of starts with some of the rankings that you see right here. I like to offer a quote by Mark Twain that I'll kind of butcher. If any of my team members are on this call, they're going to make fun of me because I say this all the time. But Mark Twain famously said that if the world is ending, he's going to go to Kentucky because they're 20 years behind in everything. And, I say that lovingly as a lifelong Kentuckian, also with the understanding that we do have room for improvement. And you can see here where Kentucky ranks as according to the U.S. News and World Report, right? 40th in the economy, 48th in fiscal stability, 20th in opportunity, and 18th in infrastructure. So not really top 10 in anything. And for us, why not Kentucky? Why can't Kentucky be the first geographically defined space where good business is supported in a myriad of ways that ultimately achieves significant social and environmental impact, and it also elevates and advances statewide economic development? So the value proposition for Canopy, we are Kentucky's own version and contribution to this paradigm shift that is redefining success in business to include this positive social and environmental impact in addition to profit. We see the success of BCorps from a global perspective. But for reference, there are over 320 BCorps in California. There's about 450 or 475 in the Northeast. And Kentucky has 9 in total. And all of the 11 southern states have 120 in total. So clearly, there's a little bit of a gap to offer accessibility to this movement. So we believe at Canopy that a localized statewide approach to building a strong good business ecosystem is more likely to succeed here in Kentucky, and then ultimately can be a replicable model that other markets are utilizing to reinforce the same things that we're after. Now, first, for us, it's proof of concept in Kentucky, making Kentucky first in good business, and then replicating in other spaces as well. So our vision is to make Kentucky first in good business, to take what Twain said and kind of flip it on its head, to make our state the first geographically defined space where good business is supported and reinforced and understood and ultimately attractive, that is attractive to consumers, to job seekers, to businesses, to entrepreneurs, to investors, that our region and our space is, synonymous with the good business movement, that people, whenever they're looking for opportunity, that we are in that conversation. And already kind of went over our mission, but, Kentucky specific, triple bottom line, we want to empower the Kentucky business sector to be intentional and positive in terms of their impact for people, planet, and future. Our work is primarily in 3 pillars: to educate, to certify, and to connect. So the education piece of our work is called the Canopy Traveling Roadshow. So we travel throughout Kentucky and we speak at engagements such as this. We speak with college classes, entrepreneurial incubators, chambers of commerce, business groups, really a diverse array of groups that we're speaking with in order to shout from the rooftops how important the good business movement is, how it is beneficial for the business sector, how it is very important as it pertains to social and environmental impact, really leveraging businesses to be a catalyst for change. And so we've been in front of tens of thousands of people over the last few years, and the reception is amazing, and this work will continue. So we will always be educating folks on the importance, how to do it, and really establishing our presence as the primary conveners and educators for good business in Kentucky. The next element or pillar of our work is to certify. So the Canopy certification is an online continuous improvement certification model. So this is the way that small businesses, entrepreneurs, mid-sized businesses, really any, it's a one-size-fits-all model, and it provides the framework for businesses to analyze their efforts and to be intentional with how they embed good business practices in their leadership, their organizational governance, with team culture and external impact. So the Canopy certified program is really our core service and product, if you will, and it is currently available. We just recently launched, and we have about 15 local Kentucky businesses that have already begun the application process. And go into our website, canopyky.org, you can apply to become Canopy certified. The last piece of our work is to connect. There's an important element and an important connective tissue that we will serve and support throughout Kentucky. There's so much value in B2B partnerships based on values alignment. There's so much value in connecting job seekers to purpose-driven businesses. There's value in connecting purpose-driven businesses to nonprofit organizations that share a similar mission, right? They want to solve the same things. And so Canopy is continuously building our muscle to be that connective tissue amongst all good business stakeholders in Kentucky. And right now it shows up in terms of events, it shows up in terms of educational content that we host within the certification, and really in a myriad of ways to connect stakeholders with other stakeholders that are interested in specific things. So going into reasons to become Canopy certified, this applies to B Corp and PBC as well, right? Like, why should you think this way? Why should you do this? And specifically through the lens of becoming Canopy certified, by design, and by participating in the Canopy certified program, your business is sharpening its focus on continuously improving culture, leadership, and governance, and external impact that really strengthens your business. It in turn drives business results, helps amplify statewide economic development, and catalyzes these important changes to social and environmental challenges that we see in Kentucky. Now, internally, the practices of culture, leadership, and governance is very well represented in the Canopy certified program, and it aims to support your company's culture, the working environment, employee retention. And by instilling these practices, your company is best supported for success and growth over time. Externally, the tenets of the Canopy certification in regards to external impact aim to operationalize the good that you're already doing for the community that surrounds you, and being more intentional with these practices, which, essentially it encourages your business to focus in certain impact categories. An example of this may be, and based on a conversation that we've had at Canopy, a local brewery that is very interested in clean water initiatives because they have a local water source near their brewery, and it takes clean water to make good beer. So, they're intentionally invested in clean water initiatives. They donate money to nonprofit organizations that operate in this space. They have internal programs that they operate that really helps with their local water source. And so it's this way to be intentional with an important community or environmental opportunity to partner with a nonprofit organization and to generate some really significant impacts. And so that's, that sort of external impact based on intentionality is really important. And the Canopy Certified program helps businesses understand how to focus, and other partners in that space how to continuously improve over time. And ultimately, we will see overall growth with Canopy businesses. Some of the statistics that we were referencing earlier, the upcoming generation of consumers and workers want to buy from and work for these companies that are doing this. In short, hard stop. This is what people are looking for. And whether it's caring about, employees for social good or the environment, when a company is able to authentically demonstrate their commitment to these efforts, then people are responding in really positive ways. So those are the specific reasons to become Canopy certified, but also holistically to consider how and why a purpose-driven model can work and is important. Organizationally, I've alluded to this a little bit kind of throughout my talking points. What Canopy is positioned to do, one is to attract and retain talent, right? We need to stop losing college graduates to the West Coast and to the Northeast because, that's where purpose-driven businesses live. That's where opportunities like this exist. So we want to keep our bright people here. We want to attract others as well, making Kentucky a great ecosystem for this way of doing business. By increasing the number of employee, community, and environmentally conscious businesses, we're going to reinforce that Kentucky is a destination for this business model. And we're also going to see changes as it pertains to some of these persistent challenges that we see as a state that will catalyze this collective impact. We, by growing and mobilizing our network and operating more businesses that are thinking this way, the collective impact will become significant over time. We're going to produce an annual impact report that articulates all of the impact of Canopy companies as it pertains to specific social and environmental impact categories. We'll be able to say Canopy companies put, $5 million into affordable housing, and they spent this many volunteer hours, and local businesses implemented this many supportive programs and policies to help employees on their pathway to affordable housing and things of that nature. So we're going to be able to showcase the collective impact, how it's so important, and then the real difference that Kentucky businesses are making. We can take that information, that data, to the state, and we can, Canopy cannot lobby. We will advocate for and find some partners to help us advance legislation as it pertains to good business. This can be simple, like tax incentives and procurement benefits for Canopy companies, for BCorps, for PBCs in Kentucky, really kind of just solidifying that our state believes in this, that in doing so, you stand to benefit from a legislative perspective. And then ultimately to attract and retain like-minded businesses, right? We're always thinking of ways that we can attract and retain the right kind of business in Kentucky that are employing people, that are considerate of our environment, that are really taking care of our state and our stakeholders. And so, our work holistically is positioned to accomplish all of these things. So I would be remiss if I didn't, mention the fact that Canopy is currently in a big fundraising campaign right now. This is certainly not an ask meeting, but we're raising money as an organization to sustain Canopy as an organization, to ensure that the Canopy Certified program gets launched, that we build our team, that we market and recruit businesses from throughout Kentucky to be part of this. So if anybody's interested in helping us out, with the campaign efforts from a business or individual perspective, please feel free to contact me after this. The reason, the title of this campaign, A Million Reasons for Good Business, is essentially, regardless of if you're an entrepreneur, a small business owner, an investor, a job seeker, whatever it is, there's a reason to invest in the creation of this ecosystem in Kentucky, and that's what we are raising money for. So I'll end the presentation here with contact information, and I'll stop sharing here in just a second so we can take some questions. But in short, that's who we are at Canopy. We're in the Portland neighborhood in Louisville. We do have team member representation in Lexington and Bowling Green, and we're always looking for opportunities to increase our staff. And so we're building. You can come see us at our office in Portland. You can contact me directly. That's my cell and email. And then if you are interested in learning more or possibly applying to become a Canopy certified company, you can check us out online at canopyky.org. So stop sharing here, and we'll open it up for questions. Dave, I have not been monitoring the chat or anything, so I'm not sure what sort of questions we have. I kind of breezed through it, so let's open it up for questions.
Okay. So that was quite a lot, Ben. I mean, that's awesome. So, and I know you went over this a little bit again, but let's just talk about, like, from a small business standpoint. A company, especially a smaller business, is interested in going down this road. I mean, it's probably not appropriate for them to just jump right into the certification process. I mean, what would you tell somebody as some first steps? What would you want them to start doing?
Yeah, I would say that building your business with purpose as part of the foundation is very important, right? As you're crystallizing governing documents for your organization, as you're building your team, as you're really establishing your purpose and what you do, I think to be mindful of the aspects of good business will serve you well. The Canopy Certified program, it really is a one-size-fits-all model. So, we actually have partnerships with local incubator or entrepreneurial organizations and other small businesses for that very reason. Like, they're building their business and they want to embed the principles of good business, internally and externally from the get-go. And so Canopy and the Canopy Certified program exists as a guide. We're a certification that is going to be, people can trust, businesses can trust that a Canopy certified company is committing to and delivering on social and environmental impact. They're taking care of people and environment. And also it's a guide, because people need help. So within the certification itself, we have over 15 learning modules. We have a dictionary. We have, over 30 case studies. And so it's basically anything that you would want to learn about how to do this in your own business. We have educational resources to help you figure it out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
If so, folks out there, if you have any questions there, just put them in the chat and I'll throw them out there to Ben. Yeah. When I first met Scott, and for those who don't know Scott, he is one of the owners of a large janitorial company, one of the largest ones in our area, and so he has hundreds of employees, and as you can imagine, his turnover rate is just through the roof, with people not showing up or working for a couple of days and then they quit. And early on, when he started going down this process, he was telling me that by just working through some basic principles, treating his employees in a very ethical manner, he reduced his turnover rate by 2/3 or something crazy like that. And so that always appealed to me, because a lot of folks think, me included, that this can be a lot of work and it costs some, and maybe I don't have extra dollars to go down this road. But if you look at the benefits, you can be pretty selfish with this stuff too,
Yeah. So for those of you familiar with Scott's story, I mean, it is a wonderful example. We will, as part of the Canopy certified program launching this year, we will have many more to suggest how this works and in different ways. With Scott's story, I love it because it's solving business challenges at the same time that he's delivering a social and environmental impact. And so, he took the business over from his dad, 21 or so years ago when his dad passed, unfortunately, and unexpectedly. And, they went from an organization in 2001 with, 15 employees, 30 clients, $850,000 in long-term debt, to an organization now with about 900 employees, a presence throughout Kentucky, probably 150 clients or more, and $25 million in operating revenue. And, he has seen that success because of the purpose-driven nature of his business. So the vast majority of his employee base are janitors. And as Dave said, that is a high turnover industry, a high turnover position. So FMS looked at that. They asked their team, they asked their janitorial service workers, what can we do to support you beyond a paycheck, right? And it showed up that they were interested in financial independence and support, and support for healthy living, healthy eating initiative. They wanted to be healthier and they wanted to be financially successful. And so what that led to was FMS establishing financial literacy programs, free tax prep services. Even now they have a matching gift program that supports people on their pathway to home ownership. So the company will match a certain amount per paycheck. And I think at this point they've put 6 people into home ownership for the first time as part of this program. And then the company subsidizes a New Roots fresh stop market. So every 2 weeks during the warm months of the year, they offer fresh fruits and vegetables that feed a family of 4 for 2 weeks. And, in doing all of this, like their retention is through the roof, right? People love this fact because you're taking care of them beyond just a paycheck. And so they save a ton of money on, turnover related expenses. And then the beautiful thing is what happens when you take that values-based narrative to potential customers. There's a local university here in Louisville that FMS was bidding to clean all their facilities. And FMS was, I believe, the second highest bidder. They were the second most expensive, and they won the contract because of all of these programs that they do to take care of people. And they were transparent with the university. They said, here's what it costs for us to operate the financial programs. Here's what it costs for us to operate the subsidized, fresh fruits and veggies program. And this is why we're that expensive. Like we're open and transparent with you. And because of that values alignment, this university was like, we want to work with you because you're taking care of people, you're taking care of community, you're environmentally conscious. People start to make these decisions. Now, eventually we'll get to the stage where, the organic strawberry costs less than the inorganic strawberry. But right now, we're seeing a lot of movement with values-based business partnerships. And so, a lot of Scott's success is because he's a purpose-driven leader. And a lot of FMS's success is because they've embedded these principles of good business with how they operate.
Yeah, it is amazing. I went over to see Scott one day. There was a giant bus in his parking lot, and his employees were lined up, and there was a bunch of CPAs in the bus, and they were doing tax returns for everybody. It was really, really cool.
Yeah, I think that was I was actually in a former job. I worked at United Way before I worked at Canopy, and I was working with Scott to get some of these tax prep services off the ground. And I believe in that first year with Fifth Third, it might have been with the bus doing tax returns. I think about 60 or 65 folks submitted returns. I think they saved about, $50,000 to $75,000 in filing fees, and the ultimate returns were several $100,000 that they got, and this was a free service. So like, that's not impact right there. I don't know what is. Love to see it.
Yeah. So maybe you can talk a little bit about this, but of the 9 companies that are certified here in Kentucky, what kind of results are they seeing? Do you know?
Yeah, so, and you're referring to the 9 BCorps that we have in Kentucky at the moment. So this includes FMS, Scott's company. This includes Maker's Mark. I'm sure everybody knows Makers, bourbon. And also App Harvest, which is an agricultural technology company in Eastern Kentucky. So essentially, I can't speak to exactly, some of the success metrics that they've seen, but for FMS, they see the value in being part of this movement, it really creates the space for them to be intentional with how they address social and environmental elements in their business model. And it moves them from this philanthropic business to a social enterprise, right? Like really embedding this way of doing business. And so in doing this, they're seeing some results as it pertains to employee retention. They're seeing results as it pertains to profitability. So like makers, you can imagine, this is, although I don't know if it's part of their marketing campaign right now, but recently achieving BCorps status to be attractive to a younger demographic. This is the first distillery to become a B Corp. They're going to be all over it. This, if I'm making that decision, me, Ben Smock, going to the liquor store to get bourbon for the weekend, I will choose Maker's Mark over others because I know that they're doing these things. And so, they see the value of having this global standard of good business. And what we want to do with Canopy is create accessibility to it, to make it just as beneficial from a business perspective, but to also reduce the barriers to entry. B Corp needs to be rigorous because it's the global standard, but also we're the pathway for entrepreneurs, for small businesses. And for reference, there's 9 B Corps in Kentucky. For the Canopy certified program, we have currently about 15 applicants after launching about 3 weeks ago. And we have about 50 more businesses that will be enrolling soon. So just based on, pre-launch data, we're already seeing a lot of interest.
Wow, that's spectacular.
Yeah, we're excited.
Yeah. I think that's all the questions we have at the moment. Again, I would encourage everyone there to reach out to Ben and Canopy and just start to get some information and start to understand how this all works. And again, it's great for the world, but you can be a little bit selfish with this stuff too, because it's good for you as a business owner to do good for others.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we have events. I act as, really the primary intake for Canopy. So I love meeting with folks, grabbing a cup of coffee, explaining in more detail what we do and how we can help. So, my call to action for everybody would be, check out our website. We have a lot of great information and resources on there, canopyky.org. There's also ways to subscribe to our newsletter to kind of keep engaged with events and, general educational information on the good business movement overall. So plug in with our network, and I am positive and confident that there's value for you in doing that. So I'd love to meet everybody, and let me know how I can help.
Yeah. Kathy says there seems like there's a real opportunity to snowball for B2Bs and to get involved in this. Yeah,
absolutely. And Kathy, yes, would love to talk offline about that. And you're absolutely right. I mean, our work is just as much about catalyzing social and environmental impact as it is helping businesses thrive. So we act as a connective tissue between potential B2B partnerships. And we've actually seen a couple that have, happened as a result of us being kind of in the middle of that. So, this is exactly what we want to do, to help businesses connect with one another, to make amazing things happen, to help each other succeed. That's top line for us, for sure.
Yeah. Kathy and her husband, they have the coolest business and the coolest story I've ever come across. So almost as good as Scott's, but not quite. Theirs is even better.
Well, I'm excited to learn more. Kathy and to all others, I've just put my email in the chat. So please feel free to reach out to me with questions, or if you'd like to meet for a coffee, I'd love to get to know everyone.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, Ben, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been great. It's always good to see you.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. Great to see you as well. And you're a Canopy OG, so I know you're happy to see where we've come, and we so appreciate our partnership with SBDC, and happy to help.
Yeah, great. Well, thanks everybody for joining us again, and come back next week. Next Wednesday, we'll have another great guest. So have a good Wednesday, everybody, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you for joining today's webinar. At the Kentucky SBDC, we know small businesses are the heart of our economy. That's why our goal is to help business owners start, grow, and succeed in Kentucky. Find out more about how our no-cost business coaching, training, and resources can help your business. Visit us at KentuckySBDC.com.